Hey, welcome to the Paddock Pulse podcast. Leah and I are super pumped to have with us Jules and Michael Iavarone. Michael and Jules, guys, welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for being here.
Hi, you're welcome.
How are you?
We are doing great. Technical difficulties always slow us down as usual, but you know what? It's the same every time and we're used to it. I appreciate your patience. So Jules and Michael, there's a lot more to their story, but we know Mike Ivarone well from Big Brown winning almost the Triple Crown. I remember that big time whenever I was early days in this business. So, and most of all, now we see the two of them flaunting around the horse scene with their entourage and all the glitz and the glam and the fun. And I don't know about the rest of our listeners, but I, for one, love to see you guys having a good time at the races and enjoying the sport that we love so much. So let's get into this conversation, shall we?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so let's go back, if you don't care, and just tell us a little bit about yourselves, your business. We know that horses aren't your main source of income, right? They're the fun side of things. So tell us a little about your business and your background in horses.
Yeah, so I was thinking about Big Brown, and it's crazy to me to think that was 17 years ago. I feel like it was yesterday, and that 17 years has gone by pretty fast. Yeah, so horses are my passion and my hobby. I manage money for a living. I manage a very substantial tech fund, and it's afforded us the opportunity to buy a lot of good horses and have a lot of fun. I mean, that's for sure. But yeah, horses are definitely, put it this way, I am very much interested in even expanding the horse thing and maybe creating a little bit of a business around it as well. So it's in the makings right now.
Yeah. Well, it's a business. I mean, at the end of the day, like, yes, horses are fun and we love them, but ultimately it is a business for all of us too. So I hear you. And when did you and Jules get together? And Jules, tell us a little bit about your past and your history.
We got together in 2009. So it was just right after the Derby that Big Brown won. I won revenge year.
It's a trophy for winning the Derby, right?
I like it.
Yeah, I really didn't know anything about horse racing at that time. I had gotten a job selling the hats for the Derby and all the races in Lexington, and that hat shop was located in the hotel he was staying in. So I didn't really know too much. I'd been to the races a few times, but definitely didn't know anything about it until I met him, and I literally picked up a book. It was like the ultimate guide to thoroughbred racing or something, and I like read the whole thing, and I was like trying to impress him with all my knowledge.
Yeah, she's a good reader. She's definitely an avid reader, that's for sure. But when you talk to me about thoroughbred racing in book terms, it's gonna be pretty obvious.
Hey, A+ for effort though. Yeah.
100%.
I still feel like I don't sound like I know what I'm talking about. It's fine. It's totally fine.
We're learning every day.
I've learned so much from him and just being around, I guess as you call it, the game, and just listening to him and everything. I feel like I've learned a lot. I'm still not to his level, but definitely learned a lot.
Yeah.
Just when we think we know what we're doing, right?
Exactly. Like, we don't know. No one knows. And all of a sudden somebody's winning, a big race with a $9,000 horse that didn't know what they were doing, and they just
for sure.
Guys and
that's what makes it great, I think. I think that's the best part.
Absolutely.
Yeah, totally agree.
Okay, tell us. Okay, so going back to Big Brown. So besides meeting Jules and you guys, getting together after the Derby, what changed? Was it like a big life changer to win the Kentucky Derby?
Of course. You look back at history and, there's been 150 plus runnings. So if you think about it, there's only been 150 owners in the entire world in history that's ever experienced that. And being in the game, the one thing that's evident is whether you run in a $10,000 claim or the Kentucky Derby, the adrenaline that's involved as an owner watching your own horse run is incredible. Whatever you could imagine, it's multiplied and amplified by 100 in a race like the Kentucky Derby. And it's just a magical dream to even be there. Like on the show, I tried to lay out how the odds are against you, where there's, let's say, 10 to 15,000 foals in a particular year, and 20 of those are going to get in the starting gate, and one of them is going to win. So it's life-changing from every angle. It's historical. You say to yourself, why me? How did I get lucky? What did I do right? And, it's something that they can never take away from you. It will be with you and you'll carry it around forever. And it's definitely been life-changing for sure.
Wow, something that they can't take away from you. That's kind of...
Yeah, no, they can't take it away. It's in the history books.
That's really special. Okay, sorry, I got distracted. I love that line. Leah, do you want to take us into our next set of questions. Oh, it's the Netflix
Yeah.
series. Let's talk
You
about
know, let us talk about that, because I think we were kind of surprised how many people really latched onto that series and outside of the industry itself have mentioned it. When you were first approached by Netflix, what was your thought? Were you super happy to jump right in, or did you have reservations, and what was the experience like?
Well, let me just say one thing. Let me talk about the show for a second. And going back to the Big Brown situation. So when Big Brown won the Derby, I was very recognizable in the horse industry,
Mm-hmm.
but I could walk around the streets and nobody would really recognize me as a person. Since the show, that has all changed. I mean, we can't go anywhere. We were just walking around the mall and people were pulling us over and asking for photographs. And it's so more widespread than I ever imagined.
Yeah,
And
us too.
And I mean, we go to the racetrack, it's wild, but every day, I mean, we were driving in the car the other day, I had the roof down, we got coffee, it was like 8:30 in the morning, and there's a car beeping the horn.
Next to us.
Are
you guys from that horse?
you know,
And I'm like, at the red light.
yeah, I mean, I am shocked.
And this is down in South Florida?
Yeah.
Yeah, I am literally shocked
Wow.
at the traction that the show has had outside of the horse world. It's been wild. And, of course, it's now led to us. We've been reached out to by another production company to kind of do our own show, which I think will be way more fun. But yeah, the footprint that the show has developed has been amazing, like incredible.
No.
Yeah, about like when they approached us, like reservations, all of that stuff. I think with anything, it's just trying to understand it, like see what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Being it was around horse racing, docu-series, it definitely sounded fun. And I had a lot of fun doing it, filming it.
Yeah. Hey guys, can we just do one thing? Can we just take a look at this? Hold on. Can you see that?
Is that your meow meow?
Yeah. Do you see him?
What's he doing?
Yeah, he's the star of the show.
He is the star of the show. He's your baby, right? What's his name again?
Yeah.
Truffles, but he goes by Bougie.
Of course.
Of course.
Miss Bougie, Sir Bougie. He's been knighted.
Oh,
Was he
man.
on- Did he make an appearance? I don't remember.
He's made an appearance on several podcasts I made when he walks across my computer. But no, I think he's so afraid of guys in general that he never came out once during the filming, even though 99% of our friends are girls. The camera guys were guys.
He doesn't like guys.
He doesn't like guys. He's kind of like me.
or the voices of men.
I don't like guys either.
Oh my gosh. Hey,
Oh my God, I love when we have pets on. We need a side segment called like Pets of the Paddock Pulse or something.
he needs his own Instagram. Let's be honest.
He does. I just can't. I'm just the worst with social media, so it just doesn't get really.
Okay.
It's like his baby pictures.
It's literally his world.
You made me. I wanted to go back to Big Brown for like a hot second. I'm so sorry. I feel like we like moved quickly past him, and like because he wasn't just a Derby winner. I mean, the fact that he was on the Triple Crown Trail, like that's a whole nother level because he won both of the first two legs. So tell me a little bit about that part too.
Well, I think what makes his story even more remarkable was I bought him as a 2-year-old off of a grass race at Saratoga. So he broke his maiden at a mile and 16th on the grass. Patrick Reynolds trained him. I saw the race on TV. And the second I saw the race, I mean, he ran in like 140 flat on the grass. Just missed the track record there. As soon as I saw the race, I made a call instantly. And Paul Pompa had already been contacted at the time by Darley, and they offered him $4 million for the horse. And I was like, wow, that's a lot of money for a maiden that's never run on the dirt before. And of course, that's what I ended up paying. So what was really wild about it was we were not thinking Kentucky Derby at all. We were thinking Breeders' Cup Juvenile Grass. And then like 2 weeks before the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, he had a big quarter crack. And that knocked him out entirely. And we didn't even get him back until March. And we were going to run him in an allowance race in March as a 3-year-old on the grass at Gulfstream. And it poured that morning. And they took the race off the grass. And Rick Dutcher and I had a conversation about it. And he says, look, I think he can run on the dirt. But of course, you bought him for the grass. I don't want to ruin him. He says, if he runs terrible, we know he can go back to the grass. I think it's a safe enough track where we're okay with his safety. So I said, it's your call. He said, let's put him in there. And he won that race by like 12 and ran like 100 and something by her. And then a month later, he won the Florida Derby and was the favorite for the Kentucky Derby. He won the Kentucky Derby. He won the Preakness even easier. And then a week after the Preakness, he got another big quarter crack. And we missed like 2 weeks of training between the Preakness and the Belmont. And I really think that's that's what did him in. I know he got stepped on coming out of the gate, the pictures of the nail and all that other good stuff, but
Yeah.
I just feel like we had to run. I mean, we knew he wasn't as fit as we wanted him,
Right.
but you have to run. You owe it to the game. Like, I mean, I know this is a tough take, but I was disappointed that they didn't run Sovereignty in the Preakness. And the reason why I was disappointed is he was a very sound horse. He was very fit. Journalism ran all three, no problem. Even came back and ran the Haskell. For the benefit of the game, the eyes on the game are 10 times larger when there's a Triple Crown on the line.
Yeah.
And if he would have won the Preakness, the whole world would have been watching the Belmont because, look, we just came off the show. We had momentum. The Triple Crown had momentum. Here was a horse that people could really attach to. And, he just trashed the Preakness mob.
It kind of fell apart. And I think you're not alone. I think a lot of people would have liked to have seen.
Yeah, and not only that, he trashed the Preakness as if it was an uneventful race. And I feel like, if you have if journalism could do it, Sovereignty could do it. Because journalism, ran his heart out for several races, and Sovereignty had a much more easy schedule leading up to the Triple Crown. And I think it's pretty obvious that Sovereignty would have probably won the Triple Crown. That's at least my opinion. I feel like he could have easily pulled that off because, look, he just came back and won the Jim Dandy too. I don't know. A lot of people let Mott get away with things. If I had my audience, I would make it pretty clear that for the good of the game, if you got a really sound horse and you got a chance to do something at that level and make history, the game deserves it.
Yeah, I can appreciate that for sure.
Yeah.
That's a totally fair statement.
Yeah, and honestly, I think you're not alone in that opinion, and it is a really interesting conversation. Just kind of sticking on this, idea of the Triple Crown. You are, fortunately or unfortunately, in a very elite club of people who know what it feels like to have a shot at winning the Triple Crown. There's so few horses who have won the Kentucky Derby and the Preakness and even have a chance to go into it. We have a few who've done what Sovereignty did, where they skipped, one of them, which is a whole nother story. But you touched on it in the Netflix series a little bit. Just can you kind of explain to us and elaborate on that feeling of winning the Kentucky Derby, winning the Preakness, and then not winning the Belmont? And just, it's such a great example to me and to those of us in the industry of the highs and lows in a very short time period in our industry. Can you just elaborate on that as an owner?
Yeah, this one's pretty easy. And this harkens back to the Sovereignty situation. So as an owner, when you win the Derby and you win the Preakness, it all shifts to the horse at that point. Right? Now it's not about you, it's about him. Now it's about etching his name amongst the greatest that ever lived. And the disappointment I had was never about me. After we lost the Preakness, I'm in the back, I'm hugging the horse, thanking the horse for giving us the opportunity to do something that nobody ever gets to do. Mm-hmm. And the disappointment I had was for Big Brown, right? Big Brown's name I wanted etched in history as one of those 13, as the first one in 30 years to do it. And the disappointment I had with Sovereignty is the same thing. Sovereignty's recognized as a good horse, right? A very good horse, maybe a great horse. But in the horse world, if Sovereignty would have won the Triple Crown, he would have been a legend in the real world. And there's a big difference. I never once felt bad for myself for losing the Belmont. And it didn't matter to me at that point because I had done things that you dream of doing when you buy a racehorse. And winning the Derby, who gets to do that? Win the Preakness, who gets to do that? Who gets to go home, back to New York and have a chance to win the Triple Crown? Who gets to do that? So I'm not going to feel bad. Nobody's going to feel bad for me. They shouldn't. But I felt bad for Big Brown because now he was not recognized as the horse that won the Derby and won the Preakness. He was recognized as the horse that didn't win the Belmont. And that was
No, I think it is. And I love that. I love that sentiment because I think that's how a lot of us in the industry feel is, the recognition on the human side is always secondary to the recognition that we want for the horses themselves. I mean, they're the ones out there doing the work and obviously the jockeys and trainers are all involved. But I love that you put it in that way because it's so, so true. We're all just out here and the really, really good ones like Big Brown and, like some of the greats we've had in the last few years. I personally truly believe that when they are very good at racing and then you can see the ones who really love it, they know when they lose. And I think that is more heartbreaking for me than, like you said, like it's disappointing for the owners, but I always feel, for the horses in those situations.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when they talk about the Triple Crown winners, they don't put the horse's name and the owner and the trainer. They just put the horse's name up there, right? Yeah. And that's the way it should be because that's the athlete. The sad part for him was he was recognized as the Derby winner. I believe in my heart of hearts that on level playing ground without that quarter crack and true training, those horses couldn't beat him if they ran around 40 times.
Yeah,
he was just so much better than his class, and he proved that. I mean, the way he won the Preakness just was ridiculous.
And
I mean,
what's the one he ran after?
And then he came back, healthy, and he won the Haskell after that.
Yeah,
Came
looked
back
great in the
again.
Haskell.
Yeah. So I mean, he proved over and over again. I mean, he lost one race in his life,
no,
right?
and
and that was the biggest race of his life.
He is still like, I have 2 broodmares by Big Brown. Like, he shows up in pedigrees. He's a stayer in.
Well, I mean, Puka, we've talked about Puka a few times. Yeah. I mean, for those of you guys who are not maybe super, savvy about thoroughbred bloodlines, we've talked in the past about Puka, who is the dam of Mage, who won the Kentucky Derby in 2023, and Dornock, who was the Belmont winner last year. And she is a daughter of Big Brown. So, there's so many times in the industry where this happens, where the horses miss that moment to really be rocketed into the history books themselves, but then their lineage kind of backs up the talent they had on the track. And it doesn't always go that way. Sometimes it's the opposite. And so does it feel a little bit bittersweet to see the success he's had in his line?
No, actually, and by the way, going back to Puka, which is almost impossible to imagine, because there are 20 horses in that starting gate. She's had a son in 3 consecutive Kentucky Derbies.
Yeah, let's not forget about Baeza, who has absolutely run his eyeballs out this year and is an excellent racehorse in his own right.
Yeah, like mechanically impossible to me how that could ever happen. I forgot the question again. Oh, it's bittersweet. Yeah. So no, definitely not. There's nothing bittersweet about anything that's come about from this experience. Nothing. It's been incredible. Not only was everything that happened here incredible, but we sold breeding rights in the Southern Hemisphere for the first time ever. So he was the first real horse to shuttle to Australia. I made a deal with John Singleton and Vinery in Australia. We had several trips. Jules and I went there to make that deal happen. He was a legend in Australia. Yeah. He literally, when he hit the ground over there, every news station was covering his journey. There's been nothing about that story that has been bittersweet. It's been an amazing experience, amazing ride. And now, he's 19 and he's at Old Friends, and we have a few horses. We're going to go see him soon.
Yes. A new resident of Old Friends as of last fall, right?
Yes.
He that? We're gonna
100%.
We're gonna go together. This is gonna be great.
Yeah, we have a couple of horses there, so we're definitely looking forward to that. And he's, it's crazy. I just can't imagine that the guy's 19 years old. I mean, I remember the days I had. My daughter was like this big, and he was such a sweetheart. I would bring her in the stall with him. I mean, it was just on the racetrack, animal, in the stalls,
puppy dog,
human. Yeah, it was.
I love
incredible.
that.
But
I love that.
All great.
I love that so much, because there's a lot of misconceptions in the general public that, the people in this industry are in it for the money and they don't care about the horse. And, those of us who are in the industry know that that's not true, but it is a public image issue that we have to deal with. And, one of the things I think is so not funny, but just ironic, is that there's so many really hard moments in our sport. There's some really great ones, but it is not for the faint of heart. And if that truly was the case, nobody would do it, right? If we were all in it for the money, nobody would be here. We wouldn't be having this podcast. You guys wouldn't be talking to us. But just to hear you say, like, there's no bittersweet moments, there's nothing bitter. It's all, all positive and good, despite, having some disappointments. You can focus on the great moments. It's so nice to hear.
Thoroughbred racehorses are bred to do this. This is when they're not happy in their stall. They're happy on the racetrack. Just like, race car drivers. They're they could be watching a race on TV. That's not what motivates them. Instead, they want to be in the car at 200 miles an hour. So every time they get in that car, there's incurred liability, right? The same thing with racehorses, but racehorses are racehorses, and they're bred to be racehorses. And if it wasn't for the owners and the money that they spend to do this, there wouldn't even be that breed.
Yeah. Right.
So, people can talk about inhumane. We know in the sport, nobody's better taken care of than these racehorses. As a matter of fact, I'll feed them before I feed us. As I said on the show, when I bought into Victory Avenue, we would give him some carrots, and I said, don't give him too many because we may need these if he doesn't run well.
I love getting to hear you guys be so down to earth, because a lot of what people see are glitz, glamour, over the top. And I remember messaging Jules at one point, and she was like, "We're all really normal people. Like, we have."
Oh, Jules is definitely Mother Teresa on the bottom. No question about it.
It's my girl.
Big Brown on the top, Mother Teresa on the bottom. There's no question about that.
I love it. But I love how you did bring that side of your lifestyle to the Netflix series. I think it was really fun and attractive for people. And I know for a fact, one guy watched the series, contacted one of the trainers, Kenny McPeak. His last name is Anderson, and he bought a yearling just up in Saratoga for $1.4 million. So touche to you guys for being part of that catalyst, like I said, of bringing people in. And God knows there's many more that are coming along, right? That's one.
Exactly why Soccer should have ran in the Preakness. For that reason is exactly why that horse should have ran in the Preakness. You know, it's what I think what drove me so crazy is they said he bounced out of the Derby. Like he bounced out of that race. And like the game would have leaped forward 5 gigantic steps if that horse would have been running for the Triple Crown at Belmont at Saratoga. You know, I mean, I can't even tell you what that would have meant this year with the show and everything else.
Well, I hear you. I hear you. I do believe Jules and I are alike in this. Everything happens for a reason. And just going back to Big Brown and not being able to run in that Turf Breeders' Cup race, like y'all part of you must have been like, this is, I can't believe this is happening. This horrible thing, right? Yeah. But God was just setting up what his plan, and his plan was Derby for Brown, not the Breeders' Cup Turf. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Really special. So listen, I hear you. We don't know what, but you guys are doing a great job by putting yourselves out there and being willing to have fun with this. What does that feel like? And
I mean, some real behind the scenes insight. Talk about how things happen for reasons. We own Steel Sunshine. He's going to run on Sunday. I'm very friends with Carrie Brogdon. We've owned the horse together forever, and we actually had a disagreement for the first time. I never disagree with my partners on anything. We had a disagreement for the first time over where to run. And I just didn't want to ship the horse to Kentucky and then bring him back to Florida and then ship to Kentucky again and bring him back to Florida. So I said, we're better off in an allowance race in Florida and then go to the Kentucky Downs for the big one. She was so adamant on running in the preview and then coming back. Anyway, I bought her out of the other side of the horse. So we now own the whole horse. So we say some things happen for a reason. So one of us is going to be right.
Yeah. And we'll never know about the other one, so it doesn't matter. Which is why we stay looking forward, right, guys?
Yeah,
exactly. We were supposed to run in a grade 1 in Saratoga. We went, it was a big production, and Philly had to scratch like the night before for like the dumbest reason. And same thing, like not a career ending problem. So it's fine. Yeah. I'm like, the patience in the waiting has to be the hardest part.
The day that Victory Avenue was scratched from the Fountain of Youth on the show, was super disappointed. I'm walking around the backyard. I'm super upset, but I understand how important it is for the horse to be sound. I don't want to run. I get that. And then that day we went to the racetrack disappointed, but then we won a grade 2 with Steel Sunshine. So and then, you know, everything felt normal again. But this game will bring you every emotion that you could ever imagine. But at the end of the day, there's only one thing that really matters, and that's how the horse is.
Yeah.
He controls the beginning, the middle, and the end. And if you listen to the horse, they'll tell you. These trainers are around these horses every day, and they know their every breath. And if they're not right, and the trainer tells you they're not right, there's no more conversation.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Okay. You mentioned earlier, you were like, I kind of want to turn it into more of a business. So like, what else? Do you have any other things you want? Because on the show, and I love how you explained how you like to buy horses that are already running. They're kind of ready to go. You know what you've got. And I love that. But then you mentioned you want to make more of a business out of this. So what do you see? Like, what's your future for you?
Yeah. So what was, since the show, a lot of the reps inside my broker-dealer have expressed a great interest in the sport. And a lot of them, strangely enough, are young. So a lot of the brokers that work in my firm, you know, at least 100 plus of them are under the age of 35. And all of them make now, you know, real money. And every one of them has expressed interest in engaging the game, whether it's themselves or whether it's some of their investors. And I think for me to play at the level I played at back then, and for me to play at that level again, I think I need about 100 million to do it. And I think pooled money is the only really way to mitigate that risk. Mm-hmm. And I think that I'm considering putting together a fund and putting together that kind of money and going up against my friend Mikey. And he is my friend. I don't know John at all, but I know Mike.
And it's not a real sport if they don't have competition, right?
Yeah.
You guys have done incredible with the way you've kept your business. It's a lot of fun times, a lot of success on the racetrack. So you want to focus on racing You want to do a fun?
Yeah, no, it's 100. It would be 100% on racing, and I'm not really a big breeder. We use racing as our outlet. That's our form of fun, our form of engagement. We definitely try to bring some fun to the game, and we try to bring the young crowd to the game. We try to introduce people that have never been to horse racing to the game, and a lot of people that rubs the wrong way. I don't care. Yeah, I really don't. As long as I'm having fun and my friends are having fun and we're not hurting anybody or
Blink
harassing anybody or
Blink.
most of my friends wear very little clothes, but that's okay. They're right.
Absolutely.
They're right.
What's the production company you've been talking to? Can you tell us? Like, is there something coming?
Yeah, sure. It's the production company that did Real Lives,
Secret
Lives of Mormon Wives. It's like the #1 show going right now.
I'm obsessed with that show, and that
Really?
makes me so happy.
We're watching The Hunting Wives right now.
Yeah. So they're red hot, and so what happened is they contacted the production company that did Race for the Crown, and now they're in conjunction to co-produce something with us.
It's all in the works.
Wow. Yeah, that's amazing.
It's nice to know that they're fighting over contracts to get us, so it's good.
Well, and
It's
We
what?
don't know.
No, I think that right now we're in the contract phase, so if anything, it'll be next year we start filming.
It's early. Okay.
yeah, I love that not only are they fighting over contracts, but fighting over contracts for a show that was going to involve horse racing. I think that's an incredible step forward. Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing is it's not really a horse racing show. It's
a variety
It's going to be a show really about Jules and I and our life and our love, and obviously horse racing will be a part of it.
Yeah, featured in it. Yeah.
Yeah, but we hope that they're going to continue the Race for the Crown. As of right now, that's not decided yet. I know one production company is yay, one production company is kind of on the fence about it. So if Race for the Crown comes back, it'll be less horse racing on our show. If Race for the Crown doesn't come back, it'll be more horse racing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I hear you. Well, like you said, there's all you top guys, the Mikeys and the Johns, you guys can just produce it yourselves. Let's be honest. You don't need another.
Yeah, you know what though? If I'm going to do a show, I actually want it to be real. I'm not doing it. I don't do it to stroke my ego. I do it to try to further the game or further people into our lives and try to get them to understand us a little bit better than they do. Because most people look at people and they judge them. They don't really get to know people. And I think that a show just Jules and I, a lot of people really get to understand Jules at a different level instead of being the scandalous, wife of Michael Iavarone.
Not so scandalous after all.
I'm so scandalous.
Yeah, very scandalous.
Hardly.
100%. I mean, they wrote a big article about me in the Sun in Europe. It's like 8 pages long. And it makes me look like I'm the biggest male prostitute that's ever walked the face of the earth. And they were just making shit up. They never contacted me. Now somehow I have a Gulfstream 10 and I had a light blue McLaren, like all these crazy things. And they were just taking pictures off my Instagram and just writing my net worth was, 700 million. And I don't know. There was nothing bad about it, but there was nothing right about it.
Right.
This is unfortunately a very large and common problem, I think, which is a whole nother story for another day.
Not for me. No.
And of course, I had a client from Europe send it to me. And I said, oh my God. So then I Googled it. You can Google it. It's Mike Iavarone, the Sun, and you'll read this insanity.
Okay, Leah, let's hit them with our hot seat fun end of show questions. Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, and I would love for you both to answer this separately because I think Jules, I want to hear from you, especially being new-ish. I know, you've done it for a long time, but having unfortunately missed the big brown hype, I would love to know your answers to these questions. So we always ask our guests 2 questions at the end of the show. The first one is, who is the racehorse that got you hooked in horse racing initially?
That's an easy one for Jules.
Yeah, so it's Teeks North.
That's a
yes.
agrees.
Yeah, so Teeks North, the story of Teeks North is I just started dating Michael and he's like, hey, I just want to let you know I got you a present. I got you a horse. And I'm like, wait, what do I do with a horse? I don't understand.
I don't ride, she said.
So he's like, no, just design some silks and this will be your horse at the race and it'll be like your little fun. So of course I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. I go design these silks and did we go to his first race?
No, we didn't go to the first race. We were in Vegas and Jules says to me, she goes, aren't we going to bet on my horse? I said, I spoke to the trainer and says the horse doesn't run in a year. Probably not going to run well. Not only did he not run well, I don't think he finished until 5 days later.
And Michael's telling me, oh, by the way, honey, this is just a fun thing. Get your hopes up or expect to win. I didn't know the whole backstory about this horse and why this horse became my horse, but there's a story.
Trainer calls me up after that race and says, I think he's got a little issue with his ankle. I'm going to get it x-rayed. He x-rays and says there's a little bit of a flake in that ankle. We could take it out. I said, look, if the horse is uncomfortable, take it out. I said, if the horse is not uncomfortable, then just retire it. He says, no, this horse can run. This horse can run, please. And this is Justin Saluso, Nick Saluso is one of my best friends. That's his dad, who I don't know if he's even trained horses before. I didn't even know. So I let him take the flake out. The horse runs back 6 months later. We are in Saratoga. We're playing golf with the Magniers in Lake George. And he wins. I don't bet him. He pays $120 to win. And a year later...
Wait. So now I get purse money from this race. So he's like, okay, babe, it's your purse money. So I'm like, wait, what? I'm getting this check from this purse money. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to do something meaningful with this. So I've been practicing yoga since I'm like 16 years old. And I just moved to New York with Michael, and there was like no yoga studios. I'd go to Manhattan every day, like for the real kind of yoga. And so I was like, honey, I think I want to open up a yoga studio with the purse money. So I do a whole business plan, everything. And it's like enough to kind of like get it going, but really not enough to like, this is going to be on Franklin Avenue in Garden City. Like, this is like a whole thing, permits. So I told Michael, I was like, no, he's going to win his next one. And he's going to fund the yoga studio, and he's going to change lives and everything. So go ahead.
So the trainer says, I think he's good enough to run in a stakes race. So at the time, I had just been dating Jules, and the kids, my girls, were probably at the time, 2009, like 7 and 5 maybe-ish in that area. So they had not met Jules yet. So the trainer says, I'm going to run the horse in a stakes race. I'm going to figure out what race that is. I'll let you know. I said, wow, that's exciting. I tell Jules, I said, your first horse you ever had, you're going to run in a stakes race. So I get a phone call about 2 weeks later, and it's the racing secretary at Monmouth. And he says that we're running the inaugural Big Brown Stakes at Monmouth, and we would love if you would come to the racetrack and give the trophy to the winner, to the winning owner and trainer. So I said, oh, that's amazing. So I tell my girls, because I'm going through my separation, so I tell my girls it was my weekend. So I said, girls, we're going to go to the racetrack, and we're going to give the trophy to the owner of the horse that wins the first ever Big Brown Stakes. And the girls were all excited. And about 2 weeks before that race, the trainer calls up and says, I know where we're going to run. He says, we're going to run in the Big Brown Stakes at Monmouth. So I'm like, oh, wow.
You win?
So
yes, you won, long story short.
Yeah. So we bring the girls. Yes, we bring the girls. She meets the girls for the first time. We win the Big Brown Stakes.
They're presenting me the story.
That is beautiful.
That is a great story.
His money,
and that's not even the end.
Wait, so then his purse money keeps funding the yoga studio. I opened the studio, but now I have like 40 classes a week, like 40 employees. I had like 18 different styles of yoga. Like, this is like a pretty serious situation. And he goes on to win Gulfstream.
He won the Gulfstream Park Handicap Grade 1 at 35-1 by a nose. He won the United Nations. He won 3 Grade 1s. Horse won over $1 million. He sold the horse for $1 million.
And he basically funded my whole yoga adventure. And that studio was open almost 13 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Is it still open?
COVID. It didn't survive.
Sold it.
I sold it to someone, and then it didn't survive COVID.
Gotcha.
Bummer.
Before
That's incredible. So Teeks North.
That's a great story.
Teeks North is my horse.
I've got a mare out of Teak Totem, which is his half sister.
Oh,
and
wow.
That's
fun.
Did you buy that from us? I feel like we also had something from the Teak Totem line, and I did not realize that was the connection.
Wow.
Anyway,
Wow.
that's fun. Okay, good.
So wow.
Oh my gosh.
I'm guessing we know Michael's answer to his favorite.
No, you said the first horse that I got to try.
Yeah, the first horse.
Yeah, the first horse that made you get interested in the business in the first place. Yeah.
Easy Goer.
His favorite.
Oh, great
Easy
story.
Goer was my favorite. I mean, as a kid, I lived for Easy Goer.
Wow.
I mean, I thought he was like, the superhero of the equine world.
I love that.
Yeah, he's the horse that got me interested in thoroughbred racing for sure.
Incredible.
Now, as far as my ownership, my favorite horse ever, Benny the Bull. My favorite horse ever. And I remember when we bought him, you couldn't get this horse out of the stall to train. Literally, he hated the mornings. I mean, just you literally had to lift him up to take him to the racetrack. Hated the mornings. When we first got him, he had won a race in Iowa at Prairie Meadows. We sent him to Dutro. Dutch was like, babe, this horse doesn't even want to train. I said, okay, so maybe we should turn him out for a while. We turned him out for a month. He came back. He goes, he still doesn't want to train. Rick was like, all right, I'll just get him up. I'll get him out. So we get him up, we get him out. And the first race he runs in, it's the Forgo at Saratoga at the end of the meet. And picture this. He ran second and ran 126 Bayer. Think about that. And he ran second. Midnight Lou won that race with 128 Bayer. I ran 126 Bayer and lost. And then the next year, he was champion sprinter. He won the Golden Shaheen. He won like 5 grade ones that year.
But he said he would never train.
But he just hated training.
There's a lot of horses like that, unfortunately. Yeah.
And he would drop 20 lengths behind the field and then just run them all down through the stretch. It was just, oh my God, I love that horse so much. He was everything.
I love that story. And I love, there's this also misconception that we're forcing these horses to race. And there's a lot of horses like that who are really great race horses and are really hard to train in the morning or just refuse to train in the morning. There's a really famous story about Tisnow literally refusing to train before the second Breeders' Cup Classic he won. And it just goes to show like we cannot physically make them do this if they don't want to. And it's just a great example of that.
It was just his temperament, like even when the way he raced. So he would break out of the gate and he'd spot the field 20 lengths. I mean, if you watch his races, just Google and watch his races, they're all the same. He would come from dead last, and he would just sweep the field, and he would run like 115 by 118 by track record. It was the craziest stuff I've ever seen. I sent him to Dubai. Michelle Nevin flew with him before she was a trainer. She was his assistant. She flew with him. She said they slept in the stall together. She said he didn't leave. He lay down for 18 straight hours on the stall in the hay when he landed. She said she couldn't believe it. It was wild. Of course, he went to Golden Shaheen in Dubai.
I love that.
Like my sleep too.
I know. So that leads us then.
Jules does it better than anybody. She doesn't move.
I sleep.
I have insomnia, so I stare at the ceiling. I hear her snoring, and I'm just angry.
I love that. So that leads us to the next question, which is we like to say recently, but within the last few years, either something you own or just as a fan, who is your favorite current racehorse?
For me, definitely Steel Sunshine.
Yeah.
You'll see. He's going to win a $2.5 million race in Kentucky next month.
Let's go. Kentucky Downs.
You heard it here first. Kentucky Downs. He's going to win a $2.5 million race. You heard it here first.
Steel Sunshine for sure.
Y'all place your bets.
Oh, yeah, Fly the W.
Fly the W. He was so good. We just had him.
He won.
How many did he win?
Hold on. He's run like we just let's see the last time. He's probably won 25 of 40 races.
Wow.
Every time we go, he would just win, and then he's so cute. And every morning he has to have a Guinness beer. It's so cute.
Excellent.
Yeah,
it's like his little treat.
Excellent.
And then as far as horses that are that race outside, I mean, I love White Barrio. I mean,
he's a solid dude, right?
I've been around that horse so often. He's just like gorgeous.
Cool. I love that. I love that we got some new answers in there. Every time we ask this question, we've gotten very few repeats, haven't we, Leah? Like it's almost always different horses, and I think that's one of the greatest things about our sport is that we all come to it from different places and different horses, and yeah, there's something for everyone.
Definitely.
I can't thank you enough for sharing yourselves with us. I know, like I said earlier, a lot of people see a certain side of you, but I'm excited to put this out there for all of our listeners to hear this side of you guys. And I appreciate your time, and I can't wait for whatever is to come with Steel Sunshine winning a $2 million race. Let's go to your next series, all the things. Like I can't wait for you to, like you said, get that fun going and like get out there. And so, yeah, it's just going to be a lot of fun to watch you guys continue to grow, and we'll look forward to seeing more of you.
Amazing.
Yeah, we look forward to it.
Thank you guys so much, and best of luck.
Thank you.
Everybody, thanks so much for listening. If you have any questions or comments and you want to reach out to us, please find us on TikTok, X, Instagram, Paddock Pulse Podcast. Let us know what you want to hear, who you want to talk to. And we'll be dropping this episode soon. And we have one every other week moving forward. Have a great day. Until next time.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Bye.